Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Jared Moon. The Garage Gym Athlete Podcast is a result of my desire to build better humans, unequivocal coaches, and autonomous athletes. I've spent the last several years obsessing over program design, nutrition, and every other way you can optimize human performance. This podcast distills the latest scientific research with what I've learned and blends it with the not-so-scientific field of mental toughness. We are here to build you into a dangerously effective athlete. If you enjoy this podcast, you can find out more about our training at garagegymathlete.com. And if you want to pursue more into the field of coaching and programming, head to endof3fitness.com. Thanks for listening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jared Moon here with Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Good afternoon, Jared.
And Nick Nabors. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you guys?
Good. Glad to have you on the podcast, get to dive into training and what you have going on. And so I'm going to hand it off to you. You know, what do you do for a living? How do you train? All that good stuff.
Yeah. So I'm on staff with a college ministry. It's a subset of Campus Crusade for Christ, or Cru. And so depending on who we're working with, it's called different things. So Cru is just kind of our general campus ministry. We work with collegiate athletes. It's athletes in action. And so I'm on staff with them. And so that's what I do. Married to my wife, Ashley. We've been together just 11 years this summer.
Nice.
And then currently have 3 kids. And I'll explain the currently. So my oldest is adopted. Her name's Kate. She's been with us for about 2 years now. My middle is Titus. He's biological. And then we're foster parents. And so we have a foster child in our home right now. So that's why I say right now we have 3, because being foster parents, that kind of changes, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, so that's who I am. And then I mostly train in my garage, which is getting increasingly sweaty and hot as the summer months continue to get warmer. And so mostly train in my garage. I will work out on campus every once in a while. I'm on the campuses that I'm at. But that is, 1, not happening currently because of COVID, but 2, also few and far between because I just don't get that much good stuff done there. So yeah, that's kind of who I am and how I train.
So hot summers, where are you located?
Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh, nice.
That's definitely got to be muggy.
It is
Muggy.
very, yeah.
That's what pops in my head as well, and I don't know why.
Yep. It is very muggy and very full of mosquitoes. So
what is your setup like?
yeah, so pretty basic. I have a rack and a barbell. I just this weekend built a lifting platform, which was fun. And I have a kettlebell, a couple dumbbells, a sandbag. That's pretty much it. So every time there's rowing programs, I get jealous. I don't have a rower. And so because I normally have to end up running, which I don't. I know you guys did a podcast on who does and doesn't like running and why running's good, but I hate running. So that's part of it is I would not run if it wasn't programmed. I wouldn't do it. And so you guys force me to do things I don't want to do because I literally would never do it.
Happens a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot, but it's good. And so, yeah, and then I have a road bike. My dad kind of got me into doing some road bike stuff. And so kind of like you guys talk about sometimes on whether it's rest days or something like that, I'll jump on my road bike. And there's some pretty awesome trails here in Little Rock right near the river and stuff like that I can jump on and get some good work in on.
That's awesome. Yeah, so if you have the road bike, why are you running?
I really enjoy road biking.
You don't want to take that away.
Yeah, like sometimes I don't want to ruin it by making myself do road bike sprints. I'm
Makes business and pleasure.
Yeah. So I think that's part of it, and part of it is, the fact that I don't like running means I should do it, right? That's one of the things that I'm like, if I do things that I really don't like, it's going to force me to push myself beyond what I normally would. Yeah, that's part of the reason why, and then a lot of times I'll take my dog when I'm running. He can run for miles and miles and miles. And so he's helpful as well when I'm running. And so it's kind of knock two birds out with one stone, right? I can get the dog some exercise and forces me to run too. So.
Yeah. And I don't actually do much biking I do it on like Saturday, Sunday type stuff, but I don't normally if we have like 800-meter intervals, I'm not like, oh, get on the bike. And then it's just not the same.
No. I like there's something special about suffering when you're working out, right? Like there's something significant there, and biking's just enjoyable to me and running's not. So it's probably better for me to run.
It's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
So what was the big reason behind working out at home?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it was consistency, right? I just wasn't consistent in other areas, right? Whether it was, working out at a, Globo gym, or even working out on campus. I would more do it when I had the time. And, with three kids, our oldest, actually my two oldest are both 5, obviously one's adopted, but they're both 5, one's about 4 months older. And so they're a handful. My oldest has special needs. And so, being a special needs parent, if I can be at home, it's better, and so, a lot of it was just consistency. On campus, I would work out when I could, but I wasn't consistent at all. And being in my garage gives me the ability to do more than just like, okay, I can go for a run at night when the kids are in bed, or I can wake up early and do some push-ups and sit-ups and stuff. I can do what I actually enjoy doing and do it consistently when it's in my garage. And then I can be home and present if need be, if something happens, if someone needs something, and so that was kind of the main driving factor was one, consistency, but two, just being able to be home more, and being able to be present, was big. So.
That's awesome. Now, what are you chasing right now, if anything? What are your goals that you're looking to go after? And yeah.
So, I think my goals are maybe not as quantifiable as they should be. Maybe that should change. But for me, a lot of it stems around just being able to continue to be active and present with my kids, with my friends, with, I work with college students, I want to be able to someone say, hey, you want to go do a Spartan race this weekend? I go, sure, and not be like, no, I need 6 months to go train for that, or, hey, you want to go do a triathlon? Sure. And so I think it's just being able to continue to, one, I needed to lose a little bit of weight, a little chunky after the third one came. And so that was part of it. But then also, I think a lot of my fitness goals are centered around continuing to be able to be active and functional in everyday life, and being able to do the things I enjoy, right? I still enjoy, I'm a wrestler, I come from a wrestling background. I still enjoy getting on the wrestling mat, and rolling around with guys. And I can't do that if I'm not in good physical shape, if I'm not strong, if I'm not quick, athletic. I can't do that as well. I can still do it, but it looks bad, and I get beat up. So, yeah, so that's a lot. I don't necessarily have okay, I want to get back to, this lift or this goal. It's more just hey, am I continuing to feel better, function better? And a lot of that just comes with measurements, right? Am I getting faster? Yes. Am I getting stronger? Yes. And so instead of having kind of the more specific goals, it's more of the general goals of, are these things happening, and am I feeling better? I can function more readily on day-to-day life.
Yeah, I like that. And I think a good litmus test for if you're ready is if those events come up, if you're scared, then you're probably not ready,
Yeah.
But if you're no, I'm good with that. Let's do it, whatever.
Yeah.
Then that you've accomplished your goal. I think that's a good litmus test for just that readiness thing. I've put a lot of thought into that just because I'm in a very similar mindset. I want to be ready for anything. How do I know I'm ready? How do I actually know I'm ready? It's okay, when you're not scared, when someone asks you to do something, you might be ready, or you're just maybe not that bright. Either one. That's happened to me multiple times.
Yeah. We've got, go ahead, Joe.
I was I'm not scared, but I wasn't really ready either. So
yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes too, it's hey, you want to go run up this mountain? I'm yeah, sure. I'll go run up the mountain. Not oh, I'm going to die. We've got some really good hiking and stuff like that near us here in Little Rock and stuff like that. Or, I specifically remember one time, and this was maybe foolish, but I was out in Colorado and someone was hey, you want to run a 5K? And I was yeah, I'll totally run a 5K. I about died. I wasn't exercising, working out at the time. This was 5 or 6 years ago, and wasn't used to the elevation at all. And I mean, I probably ran like a 40-minute 5K or something like that because I almost died. And so I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to be ready to go when when someone's like, you want to go do this? Yeah, I want to go do that. So
don't feel too bad. It doesn't matter how in shape you are. Elevation will kick your butt no matter what. I experienced that last year. My wife and I did. When we were training 6 days a week and we got to elevation, we walk upstairs and we're just like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Our rate's at 130, just walking up the stairs.
Yeah.
Can't do anything about it. Yeah.
Yeah, not at all.
So I'd like to hear how you got here because, you've mentioned you wanting to be ready for anything. You've mentioned wrestling, cycling. And it sounds like there was also a gap maybe where you weren't doing that much. You said 5 or 6 years ago. So kind of love to hear, how you got to where you are now and why you're with Garage Gym Athlete.
Yeah. I mean, growing up and in high school and in college, it was kind of like always prescribed what I needed to do, right? I was kind of like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is, I need to train. I need to be this way. I need to be, this kind of athlete. And that's not how I should be training as a 34-year-old man. I shouldn't be training like a college athlete because that's not sustainable. There's a reason why you do that for 4 or 5 years and then you change things up, right? And so I think a lot of it was, throughout the course of my life, I've just done different things, tried different things, but none of it was all kind of just like, all right, well, I'm going to do this, right? I went through a phase where I was like, all right, I'm going to do squat, bench, deadlift. That's it. Right. Like compound lifting, that's all I'm going to do. And I kept getting hurt. I wasn't really getting that much stronger like I thought I would because I wasn't doing any kind of accessory work whatsoever. And so a little bit of it was humility and realizing I don't actually know what I'm doing when it comes to fitness. I've always, exercised and worked out, but I'm not a fitness professional. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to program something. There's a reason why people have jobs doing this because I'm not a professional. And so I think it was coming to that point, being humble enough to go, okay, I need, if I want to continue to stay in good shape, I need someone to tell me what to do. I need someone to help me understand what's going to be good for me, not just like push myself super hard and hurt myself doing really stupid stuff. But someone to actually help me along and go, okay, this is what's healthy. This is what's good. This is an appropriate amount of pushing yourself. This is stupid. You should not be squatting 5 days a week, right? You're going to hurt yourself, and so I think a lot of it was coming to that realization of like, it's helpful to have professionals help you. We all do that, right? You get sick, you go to a doctor. You don't go to WebMD. I mean, I guess you can go to WebMD and they're going to tell you have cancer, but
every time,
or mono. It's cancer or mono, one of the two. And so it's like there's a reason why people are professionals, and there's a reason why we trust those professionals. And so I think even in the fitness industry, right? Why not trust the professionals? If we go to professionals for everything else, why do we just go kind of spinning our wheels at the gym, being like, well, I guess I'll go for a run today, or I guess I'll do bench today. And so a lot of it for me was just that. I was like, I really don't know what I'm doing. I need to trust people that do.
I like that. Yeah, I think we do it in every other area of our lives. Like you're saying, we're okay with hiring people out for almost everything, but for a lot of people for fitness, they think that they're supposed to be able to figure it out with dedicating 15 minutes reading a blog post once a week to furthering their education. And that's cool. I mean, I think fitness is good, but yeah, there's a lot more that can be learned and applied. And I think that's awesome on your part to kind of have that awareness.
Yeah, I had a good friend of mine, who's he's a collegiate strength coach, and some of the stuff that he would talk about, I was like, I've never even heard these words before. Like I've been working out my whole life and haven't even heard these words before. It's like, man, a lot more than I do, and so just it's like humility is required in life to understand that other people know more about a lot of things than you, and that's definitely true of me when it comes to fitness. There's other people know a lot more about it than I do, and I'm going to trust them to help me with it.
So how do you like training in your garage, and what would you say the biggest struggle is?
Oh, the biggest struggle right now is being able to grip the bar because it's so humid. It just slips out of my hand.
Not enough chalk.
Yeah. I've never really been a chalk guy, and I think it's like I have a weird, I don't know what it is. It's like a sensory thing. I hate touching chalk, feeling chalk. I just like when people
I love it.
Chalkboard, Like, nope, don't even give me chalk to write on chalk. My kids have this little chalkboard and like, Daddy, will you play with us? I'm like, nope, I won't touch the chalkboard.
That's a first.
I can't do it. I don't know why.
What about liquid chalk? That's a thing you could.
So I have not tried that yet, but I need to.
Right.
As July hit, the garage got exceptionally hot, and so yes, I need to try the liquid chalk. But yeah, I mean, I think the hardest thing is when you get to, like for me, right, it's like get to, let's say, last couple of days, and I'm on strength track right now. Last couple of days on strength track, there's been a 10-minute AMRAP, 10 sets or a 10-minute set where it's like, okay, you do a couple of days ago, it was like, all right, you do 2 deadlifts at, I think it was, 80% or something like that, and then every minute you do another one for 10 minutes. And then you get to like 7, 8, 9, 10, and you're just done. Right? It's like, I don't have the motivation. Like once I'm done with that, I'm like, okay, I still have like 30 minutes to go. So it's not like I don't have the motivation to finish it. It's motivation to push hard in it, And so I think that's one of the biggest hurdles to overcome is just that motivation to be like, okay, I'm already tired and there's 3 blocks left, right? I'm already tired and I've still got 30 minutes to go. How do I push myself, to continue to work hard and push, beyond the limits of just like casually exercising. And so that's the biggest challenge. But like I said, I love having the freedom to work out in the morning, work out in the evening, to work around my kids' schedules, my wife's schedule, and even if it ends up where I'm, home in the middle of the day working out right now, especially with COVID, right, I'm still here if I need it. If I need to take a break, if someone needs me, I'm still here. I'm not 15, 20 minutes away at a gym or something like that. I can still like, okay, quick break. Yes, I can go help you do this real quick. Or, yes, I'll help you work on something and then go back and finish working out. And so I love the freedom it gives me, and then I can continue to, I believe my main role as a husband is to love and serve my wife and sacrifice for her. And I'm able to do that more effectively and better working out from home because I can just serve her better and love her better, love my kids better, being able to work out from home. So I love that.
I think that's awesome. Now, I want to go back to something you said because I'm just curious how you actually get through a moment like that. So if you're in block 2 of a 5-block workout and you're just not feeling it, how do you actually walk yourself to, assuming you finish, how do you finish the workout? Like, what do you do to go from like, I just don't want to do this to completion?
So I think 2 things is, one, I remind myself of why I'm, my reason why, and does this always happen? No. But I remind myself, like, I'm working out so that, I'm working out because I want to be able to be there for my kids, because I want to be able to play with them, because I want to be able to, step up to the plate and do something when I want to do something. I just kind of reminded myself of that reason why. And so that's A. And then B, and I've got this kind of a couple different places posted in my garage. It's something we talk about in my job with, in particular with our collegiate athletes, and we call it audience of one. And Carson Wentz actually kind of has a foundation surrounding audience of one. And he says essentially, right, when the lights go on, and all eyes are fixed on you as an athlete, your eyes are fixed on God, fixed on Jesus. And so for me, I've got that phrase audience of one, a couple different places in my garage. And it helps remind me that I'm also doing this to honor God and to honor what he's given me, to honor the body that he's given me, and I want to honor him and glorify him in being faithful to what he's given me and to working hard to, I believe it's, it's worthwhile for me to give it my all and to work hard. And I think that's honoring to God to do that. And so there's just a couple things for me. I mean, I think that having that kind of audience of one mentality really does help me to go, okay, I'm not just doing this, to perform, but to feel better, right? Those are definitely part of it, but I want to do it to honor God with what he's given me. And so that's definitely a big part of what helps me push through, is those keeping my eyes fixed on why I'm doing it, but also having my eyes fixed on God as to, a reason and purpose for why I'm exercising and working out.
Yeah, those are some gigantic motivators right there. Those will keep you going. And I think anyone listening could take some advice from our page out of your book on that one. That's awesome, man. Now I want to get into some of these other questions. The hardest workout you've ever done.
So this one is a little bit unfair because the sport of wrestling is the most brutal sport, and so I'm gonna distance myself from some of the sports and things I've done in sports, right? Because I could talk for hours about some of the workouts that I've had to do in wrestling, which are just miserable. And so and then also, I was a rugby player too, and playing an 80-minute rugby game with no substitution, anything like that is just horrible. And I was in some of the best shape of my life when I was playing rugby, because you're sprinting all over the place, but then also you're, having to be incredibly strong and
yeah, that's no joke.
Yeah, it's rough. So those are obviously difficult, but far and above the most difficult garage gym athlete, or even just like workout in the like weight room or anything like that. So I did something really stupid. And the first time you guys programmed the Iron Mile, right? I was like, all right, well, let me look and see. And I remember I was listening to the podcast, to the Monday podcast, right? And I kind of took it as a challenge, because Jared, you said something about like, remember, if you put 185 on your back, you're going to have to continue to, clean it and jerk it and put it back on your back once you're done. And I was like, come on, that can't be that hard. Like, it really can't be that hard, right? It can't be that hard to just hold weight on your back. Like, what's so difficult about that? Oh my gosh, it was horrible. So the Iron Mile, the worst, I put 185 pounds on my back, and I just started walking. And I got half a mile away from my house, and I was like, what did I do to myself? Like, I seriously considered, I'm like, all right, I'm going to call my wife. Like, this is
I'm never going to come again.
Ash, you got to come get me. Like, I'm not making it. And I was like, no, I'm going to get through this. But it was those last couple times that I had to put the weight down and pick it back up. I was like, I don't know if I can physically do this. Like, I don't know if I can physically, get 185 pounds back on my back right now. And so that was the worst workout I have ever done, because it just mentally, like, I had to repent of bad words I said. And I was like, I was angry at you guys for programming it. I was angry at myself for being stupid enough to put 185 pounds on the bar. I've got to be at least 2 more years into this before I even consider doing that again. It was just like, it was awful. I'm sure there were people like running by me, just like laughing at me, because they're like, what is this moron doing? And it was bad.
How far did you make it before you set it down, do you think, the first time you set it down?
So it was probably, I was like, okay, like, I had it in my mind that I was like, I can do this, and I got about 100 meters in, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a lot harder than I thought it was. Like, this is really, really hard. I was like, but no, I can do this. And I think I got maybe like 200 or 300 meters in, and I was just like, I'm going to die. Like, this was a horrible idea. My neck was hurting, my back was hurting, everything, my shoulders were going numb. Kind of stuff you guys talked about, right? My fingers are tingling. And I was just like, I don't know. But in my mind, I was like, okay, but if I turn around now, I'm going to be like close to halfway done with this. If I just turn around now, I may as well just keep going. Right. And then as I kept going, I think I got to like 400 meters, 500 meters. I was like, this is terrible.
You're such an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. The whole time I'm like, I should have turned around at 200 meters and just taken weight off the bar. Like, why did I not do that? But I finished it. It took, I think it's remember awesome. How long, but it was so bad. It was the worst. It was the worst thing. I like immediately, I came home, I just dropped the weight in my garage and just went in. I literally think I like stripped down to my underwear and just laid on the floor of the bedroom with the fan on for like a good hour. I just didn't move.
Well, see, now you have a benchmark, not only the 185, but you have a mental benchmark too. So when you do it again, what if that's in 2 years or whatever at 185,
right? You'll
just like think about your mindset. Like how are you doing it the second time around? Maybe you're just like, whatever, it sucks, but I'm fine. It'll be fun to.
I can promise you, if it is scheduled in this calendar year, I'm not even going to come close to 185 pounds. I don't know what
most people are wrecked at 135. So yeah. that was a bold move at 185.
I was like, I'm a big guy, like 185. That's really not that bad. Like, I don't know.
No,
it's a trap of a workout.
I'm way more, let's do what you just did, as opposed to, if you just go to the bar and you don't like, I've been talking about this in Meet Yourself Saturdays in general, like Meet Yourself Saturday workouts can really go either direction. Sometimes they can be like, if you choose not to push yourself or not go heavy or whatever, it can be a really easy workout. Like if you did like, this isn't for everyone, but if you or I, like we put on just 45 pounds and walked out a half mile on back, that was kind of stupid. You know, maybe my back hurts a little bit, whatever. But when you decide to go to that next level like that, it's like, okay, I get the whole premise here of the entire meet yourself concept, you know? And so I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Normally it takes me a little bit longer to meet myself than like 100 meters, 200 meters. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was, that was definitely a rough go. That was for sure.
Now, in your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
Ooh, so I'm going to say a couple things. One, I think a lot of mental toughness is built in as we're younger, you know, not talking about making like my 5-year-olds go on, you know, 5-mile rucks or anything, but, you know, I think like middle school and high school, you know, I think a lot of mental toughness is built when you're younger. And so I think just being involved in activities, whatever it is, you know, is huge for kids, right? I can see that with my kids, just like when they're involved in activities, they have to overcome things, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be sports or anything like that, you know, but like involved in activities. Obviously, I'm biased towards the sport of wrestling and think that everyone should try wrestling at some point, because there are very few things more difficult than, you know, being on an empty stomach and not being able to drink water and still having to push yourself and go really hard, you know. And so I think there's an element of that, you know, is definitely part of it. I think just doing stuff that you're not good at, right? Like for me, I'm not good at running. I hate running. And that really does force me to become mentally tough, right? Because I'm like, I start off and I'm like, I hate this. This is stupid. Why am I, you know, I mean, like I'm going to hate you guys this weekend, right? This stupid harder to kill 5 mile that you programmed, right? Like I have nothing to do it on except to run. And so I'm like, I have to go try to run this. Are you kidding me?
To pick your pace appropriately.
Yeah. There is no appropriate pace that I would be able to be successful in with this thing. And so I think that's a big thing too, that really builds mental. It's just doing things you're not good at, right? You know, doing things that you're really not, you know, like naturally successful in, because then you have to say, okay, if I'm going to finish this, I'm just going to have to push it. I'm just going to have to do it, get through it, work hard. You know, I think builds, you know, a lot of mental toughness, you know? So, and then, I mean, for me, just kind of that audience of one mentality helps me be mentally tough as well. It's like, I've got that mentality, like I'm going to push through this because I have a bigger reason for pushing through it. Not because I just want to or should, but because I have a bigger reason to push through it too. So I think those things build mental toughness. Meet Yourself Saturdays build mental toughness. Golly, those things. You guys are sadistic when you program those. It's like picture Jared like sitting around just like laughing, like, this is going to be so hard.
They're just getting harder as he makes more too.
Yeah, they're getting harder. I don't understand that. How are they getting harder?
I normally think of them as I'm working out. I'm like, it's like a spin-off of something relatively easy that I'm doing on how I can make it more hard for myself at that moment. And then it just, you know, it compounds from there. Like, oh, okay, well, maybe this, then that. Then I run it by Joe. Joe tries to like take it down a notch, and then I double it. So it's normally Joe's fault, to be honest.
No, it's no. Let's back that up. Never.
Well, that's how I picture it, though. I picture you being like, you know what would make this way harder than it has to be? You know, like, hey, you know what? Running 5 miles is not easy. You know what would make it way harder? Sprinting 5 miles. Let's do that.
Well, Marco now actually makes it worse because he's been through all kinds of crazy training. So he's like putting fuel on Jared's fire, and I'm just like, come on, guys, let's calm down.
Dude, Marco, I was looking at his programming. I was reviewing it the other day, and I took a screenshot and sent it to him, and was just like, LOL, because it was something on Endure that's coming up. So if you're on the Endure track, like, I was like, dude, how do you even think of this stuff? So he might have a Meet Yourself Saturday in him coming up. He's got some good ones.
Yeah. just this past week, we were talking about we were briefing on a podcast that's coming up for me stuff Saturday, and we pulled it up and we were like, wait, that's it? We got to make this one harder. So like old ones from the very beginning are just like casual, like easy now.
Yeah, some of like the death by the Dia de los Muertos coming up. Yeah, that's well, it's not that hard, but all right, man. If you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I mean, a barbell. I like lifting. I like lifting heavy. I'm a big guy. I just enjoy the feeling. I enjoy the fight. You know, I like that. So I mean, I have a very serious love-hate relationship with an assault bike. So they have some of those on campus. And so if I'm on campus, sometimes I'll just get on the assault bike and just do like a sprint workout or something on the assault bike. And I hate it, but I also love it. And so if I had one of those, that would definitely be in the running, but I don't have one of those. So for me, it'd be a barbell. I love, you know, I mean, there's a lot you can do with it, you know,
like walk with it for a mile.
Like put 185 pounds on it and be a moron and try and walk with it for a mile. Yeah.
Perfect.
But yeah, great idea. Genius. And so, but yeah, I enjoy the lifting aspect. I mean, I was on Hard to Kill. I liked Hard to Kill a lot. Now I'm on Strength Track. You know, and it's like, man, those are pretty impossible to do without a barbell. And then you can do conditioning workouts with it. You can do heavy lifting workouts with it. So I like barbells, big barbell guy.
So what would be something you would want to add to your gym, no matter, you know, granted wish?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen them, right? But like the ski erg rower combo, right? If I had like unlimited funds, I'd be like, there's a, like, I randomly saw it, right? Where it's like, oh, you put it this way and it's, you know, one of the ski erg things, and you put it the other way and it's a rower. And I'm like, well, that would be cool because it's 2-in-1. But that kind of feels like I'm cheating your question a little bit.
Is that, are you talking about people that like mount their Concept 2, or like there's actually a contraption where it converts, not by Concept 2?
I think there's actually a contraption that converts it. It's,
okay.
You know,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So that looks cool. But I mean, if I could add anything, I would add a rower. But then again, I would literally never run if I had a rower. So maybe it's good that I don't have a rower because it forces me to do something I don't like. So
I don't know. Anything over 5 minutes of rowing is awful for me. Like I'm just like, no, never, no.
I think I'm ready to get back on the rower. It's been a long break. And I think Concept 2 should just they should like call it the Transformer.
Yeah.
Since it's all the same flywheel, it should just be like, okay, here's the seat. You're riding the bike, you know, okay, shoot this telescoping like rod out. Now you have a rower, move it up, and now you have the skier. They should just sell one thing. They can make it like, I don't know, twice as expensive as a rower or something, and then boom, you got all three.
Yeah, really, but you're not paying $900 for each.
No, I'm saying like in the middle.
Yeah.
Like it should be like $1,800. That's
if you're going to pay for three of them, you know, for $2,700, and you get, you know, it's like, well, if you get three of them together, it's $2,000. That's a deal.
Yeah, I would buy it.
Yeah,
of course.
That would be. Yeah, yeah, of course you would, Jared. Yeah, that's. I mean, at different places that I've worked out in the past that had rowers, I was always like, this is, you know, a really good workout. You know, I'm like, man, I'm sweating after this. This feels really good. So I would love to add a rower, but yeah, they are expensive, and running is good for me because it forces me to actually do it.
Now, there are a lot of garage gym athletes out there listening to this. What would your best advice for them be?
Yeah, I mean, one, like, working out's supposed to be fun, right? Like, have fun with it, you know? I mean, like, I know that's sometimes hard, but, you know, it's like, it's supposed to be fun, right? And so, you know, I mean, I'm a music guy, right? I'll listen to music and just kind of have fun with it, right? I'm like, all right, you know, like, even though it's miserable, right? Like, I'm trying to enjoy myself and I do things that are fun, you know, right? Sometimes I'll listen to podcasts or something like that, depending on the workout, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying this. Like, this is, you know, therapeutic for me, you know? And so for me, it's have fun. And then kind of like I've already talked about, just keep the reason why you're working out at the forefront of your mind, you know, because that I think helps you really push beyond, you know, just doing casual exercise and you know, really working hard. I mean, it's easy to take weight off the bar, right? To be like, oh, like I can't do this. You know, it's prescribed at 70%, but like, oh, I can't do this. It's like, well, is that true? Or are you just like, I don't really want to, you know? And so I think having at the forefront of your mind, like, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm working out, but I'm also having fun with it. You know, helps you to push yourself. And I think that's got to generally be the hardest thing about working out in the garage, is that it's by yourself typically, and it's harder to push yourself by yourself. And so you have to keep that mental aspect going. So, you know, that would be my advice. I'm sure lots of other people have better advice, you know, and shoot, listen to the experts, you know, like do what they tell you, recover the right way. I mean, there's been times where my recovery's just been terrible, you know, and so I'm trying to do better at, you know, the different recovery things of getting good sleep and drinking enough water and stuff like that. Cause, you know, I'm just trying to listen to the experts, do what you guys who are the experts, you know, are telling me to do. So.
And you'll be better for it. Awesome.
Already am.
Man, it's been a blast. You've shared so much great information on the podcast today. A lot of great takeaways in general. So I appreciate you sharing all that you have. I appreciate you being a part of Garage Gym Athlete, sticking to the training and pushing yourself on Saturdays, man, beyond what's even necessary. So that's really great, man. I appreciate everything. Thanks for being on the podcast today.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. Appreciate you guys and everything you do to help us, folks that don't know what we're doing, to help us figure it out and to be fit, be healthy, you know. And I think what you guys are doing is great. I mean, my kids benefit from you guys, you know, helping people like me, you know, stay in shape and exercise and work out. So I appreciate you guys and everything you guys do. And Joe, your beard is epic and it needs to never go away. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Well, I won't until it's my wife, and then I have to do it. No one else is going to tell me it.
That's fair and wise. You are fair and wise, sir.
Comes with the beard.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. If you want to learn more, go to garagegymathlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. Thanks for listening.